to Austin?
No, it's been a long time.
So we gotta get you out. It's an amazing city.
I don't leave the orange. I don't come out behind the orange curtain unless it.
Okay. Okay, there has
So
to be a pretty big carrot, huh?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
we are live now. You might want to delete. It'll probably like double posted to your account, so you might want to delete the earlier one. But yeah, we are live
Okay.
now.
Yeah, I see it on my LinkedIn's, and then let me see. Oh, it actually worked. Just it actually did the same. Oh no, it didn't. Okay, yeah, I see the one to nuke. Doop. Yeah, we are live. Oh, it feels good. Feels good to be back in the saddle.
Shireen, have you seen the show before?
Should I tell the truth? Or should I lie?
Yeah, it's actually better when you haven't seen the show. But
I've
Yeah, it's
seen
so
parts
much
of the
better.
show. I've
okay,
definitely seen parts. I have not sat through a whole sitting. So whoever sits through the whole sitting, do they win all the merch? How does it
They
work?
do. Hey,
no. In order to win the merch, you have to leave a comment or retweet one of the live links or something like that.
yep.
Yep. All right, 13 folks.
Let's go.
Wife in the
Quiet,
chat.
darling.
See if we can get
Oh,
her.
that's it. That's a new handle.
Oh yeah,
I didn't know
guess.
that. I like it though. Shh, quiet, darling. I love it. Oh my gosh, how exciting!
Shireen, you've been on quite a tear of shows. It seems
I haven't,
appearances.
I'm just letting it happen. I don't know what's
That's
happening.
it.
Who's your booking agent?
Well, for this one, you are.
Yes. Well, weirdly enough, Shireen, I was just chilling one evening and I was like, I was following all your stuff, reading stuff you're writing or whatever. And I was like, oh my gosh, she'd be great for a DTC show. And I texted Jess and he was like, bro, I already booked her. I was like, what? Like the mind meld had happened. So both booking agents were going after you. He just beat me to the punch.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Jess and I have pretty much established the Vulcan mind meld. We're pretty much two bodies, one brain.
And make it stop. No. I get these weird visions at like past 10 p.m. It's a nightmare.
Oh no. Oh no. That's amazing. Jess, you watch anything cool? What's on your Netflix or streaming docket right now?
Just finished Shogun,
Oh,
which
incredible.
I loved. Ran
It's
through that.
incredible. It was
Man,
incredible.
it's unbelievable how they like weaponize seppuku. You
Yeah.
know, it's like if you don't agree with me, I will kill myself right now. You know, it's just crazy.
So in World War II, after Pearl Harbor, there was I think it was the Dewey raid or something, I can't remember, but they basically launched these heavy bombers from carriers because the heavy bombers could only had the range, but they were freaking out because they're super heavy and they usually need longer runways. So the first one takes off and then it like falls below the deck and everybody's like, oh shit, this plane just almost died. And then it like starts to crest up. Anyways, the reason I'm telling this is there was a bomb. They bombed the crap out of Tokyo in retaliation. And there was a bomb that actually hit the royal palace. And if because the emperor in Japan is like, it's not like a person. They're like a
Right.
almost like a divine entity kind of thing.
Mhm.
If that bomb would have killed the emperor, the whole high Japanese command would have committed seppuku.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Because they were already
Yeah.
freaked out that like they let a bomb get that close to the emperor, like it hit his house, like the garden. It didn't get him, but like
Yep.
one bomb would have just taken out the whole high command because of such a honor culture. So interesting.
I wonder how much of that is left in the culture.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. You can see,
Like if your CEO gets canceled, do you then have to like commit seppuku?
You have to nuke your Twitter account, deactivate
All
it.
right. All right, let's start this show. Here we go.
Yes.
It's the DTC Shoooooow. Jump right in, you better get on it fast so you don't miss anything with Rob and Jess. It's the latest news and some random mass guests. All your favorite segments that you are obsessed. Win so much, be a part of the show. Get your ass up in the chat and let it all flow. So jump right in, there is so much to know. It's your #1 marketing show.
Oh, that
We
hits every time.
are. It does. It's forever. It's timeless. We are back with episode 9 of the D2C show with a very special guest, Che Renee. Welcome to the show. Is that how you pronounce it? Che Renee? I think that,
really close. Shireen.
Oh, I love that.
has anyone said that before or no?
Not on purpose. Like
Not on
not like, I mean, on purpose, not on accident. So yes,
Okay.
very rarely.
Well, I've seen you around with a bunch of shows. Always bring the fury and the real hot takes, not
Yes.
the sort of the mild ones. And love to have your energy on the show as well.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here, and hopefully we can make it really spicy and make some people mad. Start some Twitter fights. That's what I'm here to do.
Let's go. Love to hear it.
Yep. So we'll just sort of get started. We do have a lot of segments. It's kind of a packed show, actually.
Yep.
So we'll get started. We always run some merch here.
It's a bird, it's plain. It's
Play this little jingle.
DTC show merch, and it's insane. It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's DTC show merch, and it's insane.
So the merch item that we have here is
wow,
it's
the
not
reveal.
a shirt or anything like that. It is a Queen Shireen duffel bag all over print.
Wow.
I wanted to switch it up, not do like shirts or anything like that. And it felt like, you're traveling all over these places. Let's get you a duffel that you can take around with. I don't know. I don't know.
Is that hair?
Yeah, it's hair. That's kind of like the theme.
That is incredible. And honestly, I don't know if I would travel with that, Shireen, because I would be so nervous that somebody was going to mug me for this piece of art. I mean, I just saw a Birkin bag, like a $500,000 Birkin bag last night, and I think this is in the same realm. So, Jess, you never disappoint.
I'm speechless.
It's hair. That's too much. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Oh,
Well,
so
I don't
good.
know. We'll certainly send you one, but I'm not sure who else would rock one. But they should be honored if they do win. If you do want to win this merch, we're giving it away at the end of the show. All you have to do is drop a comment in the chat. So we already got Alex, and Ray, and my wife in there. And then, or if you're one of the people that have retweeted the show on Twitter, LinkedIn. Oh, it looks like we got the whole slew of channels in
posted?
here.
Amazing, I guess. Let's go.
Wait, I posted that?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Oops.
And we're moving.
Our LinkedIn's have become sentient, and we'll I don't know what's happening.
Mind meld. I told you the Vulcan mind meld. We need to pump the numbers, baby. We need to pump the numbers, and this is what we're doing. And look at you, Sheree. You already got a groupie in the chat already in the first minute. I love to hear it. Love to see it.
I love to see it.
Hit them with your where are you at on Twitter, Shireen? Just so people know.
Shireen Aubert. If I post it in the chat, it's gonna post from all of our accounts, so I won't do that again.
Okay. Easy to find. Just type in Shireen. There's probably only one. It's Queen Shireen, and so easy to find.
Just look
spelling
for the best.
right there on the bag, in case you're wondering how to spell it.
All right, just some quick housekeeping. We are on Spotify as an audio only, but the video's there too if you want to watch it too. So we upload that pretty much every Monday. So look for that on Monday and YouTube as well. Also, I'm doing an event with Motion on June 20th. I'm wrapping up this Make Ads Convert event. I've been saving all of my. It's going to be like the 10 spiciest hot takes that I have available for you guys, and I'm going to sort of go through all those on the show. So
Love it.
so
Powerful Zach
Shireen,
Cox in the chat. Let's go, Zach.
Yeah, here we go. All right, so moving into the very next segment here, the guest in 10 seconds here.
Aren't we blessed to have the greatest guest? Let's hear your story in the 10 seconds that we have left.
Shireen, what's your story?
I started in D2C over 15 years ago, and I spent a lot of time agency side, and I've been at a couple 9-figure brands.
Time's up, sounds amazing, but we gotta go. If you want to know more, check the description below.
Shireen, from agency to brand side, have you seen the light, would you say?
I've seen a lot of things. I don't know if light is one of them, but I've seen a lot of things.
Wow.
All right, so we'll dive deeper into Shireen's mind and her hair a little bit later. So, but first, let's tackle some of the news of the week here.
Let's go.
So DTC news of the week, the latest news with a spicy critique.
We should drop an album of these jingles.
I was just gonna say that, dude. Like the kids don't remember, but like one of it, like we could do like a Now album or something with all the hits on it. Yeah, I mean these are bangers.
Moseni in the chat. A lot of people in here. So if you're in the chat, feel free to comment on any of these news items as well. Love to hear your opinions. But we are going to get to the Meta Summit. I do want to dive into that in detail. But first, I wanted to tackle this. Instagram is testing unskippable ads that you can't scroll past. Rob, you brought this to our attention. Is this what's the thinking here?
Yeah, so I mean, YouTube's had this already, right? And so here's my take, and Shireen will give way more eloquent answer, but I find it fascinating because I think YouTube is in a better position when you can push these ads because it's closer to TV. You're there to educate, quasi entertain, but when you're on Instagram, you're pretty much doom scrolling or just filling time. And I feel like that's a bigger headspace shift to not be able to skip these things. However, from a marketer's perspective, this totally changes the game because now I don't have to really focus on the hook as much or like getting that person because I know I'm going to have them for 30 seconds or whatever. And I can really almost make TV ads in a way. When you make a TV ad, you're assuming this person is just going to sit through it. And then in terms of the economic vectors, I find it interesting because like for me, one of the fastest ways to feel rich is buy YouTube Premium. But the challenge when you have something like that is you're going to take out usually the best customers because the people that pay for the subscription service are usually the ones you want to get. And so like Scott Galloway has a great line where ads are basically just a tax on the poor. And so for me, if this hits impressions, that would mean that they're going to serve less ads, but then they can charge more for the ad because it's unskippable. So it's like, is that the balance? Or for me, that's the bet they're taking, where it's like I can charge more for this ad and the loss in impressions or users that are actually firing up the feed, but I can still make more money. But I don't think it's the right call, but I don't think it is out of left field. And I also think this is possibly maybe teeing up some sort of subscription. I mean, there's already like a verification and stuff now, but so that's where I'm at. I think it's interesting. I think it's going to be a net positive for Instagram revenue, but I think the big thing is if it starts to hit usage, that means inventory is going to go down, which means the ads served are going to go down, which means they make less money, all things being equal. So I think it's interesting. I think it's more interesting for us to like as marketers in terms of how we're going to build short form videos or Instagram videos. But Shireen, where do you land?
Yeah, this to me signals like a really strong move of overconfidence. Like YouTube was able to do this because they were a market leader. There was no other alternatives and people had nowhere else to go.
That's a really good
and
point.
I think this is like Meta coming out and saying, yeah, we are no longer scared of competing with TikTok, which makes the impending TikTok ban feel a little bit more real because they're not scared of users hopping to another platform. So that's like one piece of it is like really strong overconfidence here. And they think it's going to go in their favor and they think they're not going to create enough friction to lose users, which
Yeah.
I'm like, is that really what's going to happen? I have a lot of questions about that, especially for younger users who are already abandoning Instagram.
They're number 2, and they're putting this, making the experience worse. So they're like, I don't understand.
Yeah, so there's got to be a reason why they feel that confident. And then I think the other trend I've been seeing is they're just like looking for inventory. They're just scraping for inventory, and we're going to pay for it. This seems like really premium inventory, and the advertisers that can't afford premium inventory are going to keep getting lower quality inventory. So I think the performance issues that everyone is seeing, performance is going to become harder and harder and harder unless you can pay a premium. So I think that's just going to become a reality. Like you said, Raba, it's like TV advertising before digital. Who could afford TV ads? There were not very many. And I think that's the way paid social is going with a move like this.
Yeah, I think this, I don't think this has much of an effect on D2C, but I think this is a way for them to create inventory that CPG and movie studios can dump their ads into, because Facebook and Meta is generally not the place to take your TV commercials and put them on digital or whatever. That's usually like programmatic or something. And so they're now just carving out this big slice where, Sony can just put, the latest Spider-Man ads, and it actually works because those ads are not formatted for, thumb stop. They're not performance based. So they're carving out a space where those ads can thrive, I guess.
And TikTok has some inventory like this too that I've been seeing recently, and inventory for those top tier advertisers, like more options than Meta does. So it kind of seems like a natural evolution too.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Side note, there is a little bit of inventory on Meta. There's like rewarded video if you look at the placements that basically does this. And it's usually junk. It's junk inventory. So we'll see. But did want to dive into the major news, which is that the Meta Summit happened. Were either of you guys there, or were you just
Rashib was. Rashib was there. Yep.
Marked safe.
I love that tweet, by the way. I cackled a bit.
So this Peter guy was there. He had a great tweet about specific write-ups, and I just want to tackle his tweet. He's a very smart guy and worth a follow, but tackle the things in particular that he mentioned. One is that newsfeed placement is out. Reels placement is in. In prior years, Meta has never mentioned Reels as often as they did this week. There's even an entire panel dedicated to making Reels-specific creative, and it's now 50% of the time on Instagram is spent. Ads that use a 9x16 placement and adhere to Reels safe zones have a 35% lower CPA on average in their internal test. Seems kind of obvious, right?
Yeah.
This is where things are going.
Yeah, I recall, I don't know, it was last week, people were getting really upset about me saying that we need to invest more in video ads. And I don't know, it was really outlandish of me to suggest, I admit. No.
Static only counts may flounder. I mean, you have to find a way to make video work. It's bar none, That's another startup. He also mentioned Advantage Plus shopping campaigns used in parallel with target ROAS goal. Advertisers love discussing the merits of cost caps and bid caps versus the highest volume bid method, but Meta dedicated several slides of the presentation to emphasize the benefits of using Advantage Plus shopping campaigns alongside value optimization. This is not something I've tested a ton, and I'm eager to give it a shot. Robert, what is value optimization?
Yeah, so basically, instead of like conversion optimization, right, where it's like, hey, I'm going to show these people an ad and I want you to do the thing. What value optimization allows you to do is say, hey, I want you to find the highest value customer, and not just somebody that's going to convert. So it's almost like a filtering function in terms of like, don't just let people through the door. I only want people that are awesome like Shireen to come in the house and only find those people. And so it's just a different optimization vector than conversion or optimizing towards an event. You're optimizing towards, the quote unquote LTV, if you will, for lack of a better term, of that consumer.
Yeah. Where's that LTV signal coming from?
You can pass back the purchase totals basically. And so they're basically saying, okay, cool. So this is kind of where you get into that probabilistic attribution versus deterministic, where they're saying, okay, cool, we have these data points on this person, and then they have a high likelihood of converting. That's conversion optimization. Oh, they have a high likelihood of converting and they're going to spend a bunch of money. That's value optimization. I mean, I'm paraphrasing a bit, but those are pretty much the big tenets of difference between essentially a conversion campaign versus a value optimization campaign.
Yeah, it's funny. It feels like with this, they're listening to the D2C community and they're like, oh my gosh, you fools, what are you doing? No, but it is interesting. It's like, we're trying to get, I am team not cost cap. And I think like cost caps are a good tool to have in the tool belt. But I think what they're trying to do is you're trying to kind of like scrape the bottom of the barrel for the people that are like, the cheapest to get to convert. And this is completely looking at it the other way, which is who's going to spend the most money. And when you so we've been testing value optimized campaigns. We've been running lowest cost. We've been running some cost cap. But we're also playing the volume game and we're playing the growth game. And I think sometimes cost cap and bid cap can be limiting depending on like what stage of business you're in. And so with value optimization, we've been seeing costs are higher, CPA is higher. But when comparing like even 1-day click ROAS against other campaign types, it's outperforming. So they are still driving a direct response and they're still driving value, and AOV is higher in those campaigns. So I can confirm from what we've seen, it's been working. We don't have like the majority of our spend in value optimization, but it's definitely like tested and proven that we can put more there.
Yeah. I mean, what I really think is interesting is you guys can kind of see where the puck is going, where it's like, man, they're just starting to eradicate and move levers out of where, I mean, this is getting closer and closer to this black box. So you have Advantage Plus shopping campaigns, you have LTV optimizations or value optimization, blah, 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 where, I think in a year or two, there could be a point where it's just like, give us money and creative and we'll cook for you. And then I think there really gets crazy. It gets to a point where it's like, just give us money and like some sort of Rosetta Stone and we'll make the creative for you.
Right. So yeah, that leads into this next one here. Generative AI and its role in enhancing your creative in Ads Manager. Meta has been using AI to touch up creative for several years, but they've been increasingly heavy-handed in their optimization, sometimes removing or altering entire image backgrounds. During the summit, they revealed the why behind these seemingly innocuous changes. They tag every element in our creative with labels related to emotions and efficacy of each element. AI-driven alterations that might appear odd to us, a slight darkening of an image background, are all based on the language model data and suggest that they will improve performance. As a creative, I'm not thrilled. Like, I feel like we make creative decisions. Like, I don't want them to darken a background if part of like the brand identity or the brand style is a certain way, is like intentionally 80s or grainy or whatever. I don't want them screwing around on the back end, even if it does improve performance. I also don't want what works for the masses to be applied to my specific account. If they're like, 10% darker creative works, that doesn't mean it works for me,
Yeah. I think you touched on something really interesting there where, if you do have, like, for example, like a high-end luxury brand or something like that, brand is actually more important than performance for you, and you don't want to be seen off brand. So I don't think it's going to be fully adopted by people like that. But I don't know. I can't put my finger on it because, like, do I think it's cool? Quasi. But to your point, like, I don't know. I'm a little bit old man yelling at the sky where I prefer dynamic creative to AI stuff, but even in dynamic creative, it'll still play with some things like, and as an agency guy, just the challenges too, like back in the day when I was using dynamic creative, they would do like weird stuff. And then I'd get a text from the owner, be like, hey, this isn't the ad we approved. And I was like, oh crap, no, it's not. And like, cause it was off brand. And so I think that's the other challenge when you're giving these things up, it's hard to explain to the brand owner. And sometimes like, in our space, like it's their money to spend. So you just like, do you want to be right or do you want to make money? And if you want to be right, that's fine. It's your money and we'll run it like this. But if you want to, make money, we can try these things out. So I think it'll be interesting to see where it lands. I will say though, if it starts driving outsized performance, I think a lot of this chatter starts to calm down where you're just like, dude, it's just printing me money. I don't care. It becomes like the Bernie Madoff fund of like, I don't care what's happening in there. This guy's returning me 25% every quarter. Like whatever, send it.
Yeah, I'm at a brand that really cares about and values brand, and I think in beauty specifically, like brand is what you're selling because the margins are so great. So you have to be selling brand. And I think like you just look at how Meta built their business. They built their business off of the back of small businesses that became advertisers and grew and spent more in advertising and more in advertising. And this to me is an enablement tool to make creative more accessible to those brands that don't have the resources to be able to do it in-house. Like we have a big creative team. We have a brand that we have built over many years that we can't do this. This tool is not for us. We can't even use creative optimizations as they stand today because they're like, whoa, like, we'll get like leadership will send me ads and be like, what is this? And like, why is this running? I'm like, they're also now hiding where you can turn on and off optimizations because they want advertisers to run it, but it's not for those big brands. It's for those brands. It's an enablement tool. And I think it's a great enablement tool because I think the number one challenge, even at a brand like ours, where we've established the infrastructure to build creative in-house, that's like the hardest thing for a brand to solve. Like, how do you produce this volume of creative? If it's moving towards video first, how do you produce video that works? We talk about it every day on Twitter, like, and LinkedIn, like everyone's struggling. Everyone is hitting a roadblock here and they're trying to provide the tools to do the thinking for us because it's hard. It takes people, it takes skill and talent and testing and volume and money and, creators. And a lot of people don't have that infrastructure in place.
Right. So
great take.
Z Cox in the chat says, iterates, do you want to be right or do you want to make money? And I think it's very possible to be right in the short term and wrong in the long term. And I see that's the same thing happening with cost caps where you base your business goals around a 7-day attribution window, and you can't think beyond that because you're so subservient to what the platform is telling you to wrap your business around what's happening in the ad account versus vice versa. Also the new, I guess, Meta Lattice is now here again, rolled out last year. Doesn't have any practical implications to us, but it was interesting to hear Meta share this as they typically don't update advertisers more under the hood product update like this. Interesting to see if this leads to the improved stability that they promised with it better. It better.
It better.
Yeah.
I would not bet on performance improving for brands. I would not bet on that. I think it's back in the hands of the brands and the responsibility of the brands to have better performance.
Can I ask you guys a quick question? Like it's a kind of tangentially related to this. I was talking on the shameless plug, my other podcast, Equation of Excellence, with this guy named Eric Seufert, and his thesis is, which I find really compelling, that as Facebook performance gets better and better and better, that's actually going to lift other channels like Snapchat, etc., because you finally get your Facebook working. So now you have the bandwidth to actually start to look for expansion channels. Does that align with you guys or not really?
I don't think so. Not for me. No. I think it's the other way. I think it's like, oh, Meta's not performing. Now let's test something else. If Meta's working, we're going to put more money into Meta, and we're going to be like, oh, let's feeding the machine.
You see these anxieties play out on Twitter, like Snapchat will become the thing when Meta performance is terrible, So I don't see how that works necessarily.
Interesting. Okay, so we're on the other side. Oh, we have a really interesting one here, and not to derail this, but how important is creative testing for small budgets versus account structure testing? How do you think about that, Jess? And then Shireen, I want to hear your answer.
Testing anything with small budgets is hard and a grind and sucks, bar none.
Yep.
I would say testing account structures. There's kind of there's known account structures that work, and as long as you're in the realm of what works there, you should probably be focusing on the creative testing aspect, which money compounds time, and so it just takes longer to get the learnings that you want, but it's possible.
So at Ilia, where I'm at right now, 9-figure brand, doing amazing. We're US majority, but we also have international markets, international D2C, and we have smaller accounts in other markets. And so I can share like how we think about it, and 100% not account structure testing. Like I would not put account structure testing. Like, look at this Meta Lattice machine learning. Like Meta's doing all of the optimization and the media buying for you. And so the way that we treat some of those smaller markets is very simple account structure, very consolidated, and just put different and new creatives into that account and find out what works. And then eventually it's like, oh yeah, like we have this product that we want to sustain, or we have this offer, and then maybe you'll break out another campaign. But like for small budget, like try and get down to one campaign if you can help it. And maybe even just like to test like one ASC campaign and just put creatives in and figure out what works and build from there.
Yeah, that's my viewpoint as well, where when you have small testing budgets, for me, it's better just to concentrate all that quote unquote small budget into something versus having like these $10 paper cuts or $100 paper cuts. Like if you do the math just doesn't math. You're like, dude, I need to get a conversion at $5. Like, but my, historical conversions are 20. Like, and so there's just no way that you're going to be able to test something with $100. And so for me, I believe more of what Shireen's saying of like really batching that budget to make it something versus having a pellet gun.
Also on board. So we gotta move on. There's lots left. We gotta do the
let's go
SaaS Survivor.
Oh, we just popped 200.
SaaS Survivor, there can be only one software provider.
So Shireen, this is a segment where we've been curating the top SaaS tools that you need to run a business with, or things that are extremely helpful. The guests can certainly bring some, but anything that needs to be added needs to be taken off. For example, my team has been having a lot of trouble with Air recently, and it's been very frustrating. And I don't think they deserve to be on here.
No, I got to text Ari. Oh no, did you?
Their customer service is. I reached out to them, and they remediated some of the issues. But I find that with SaaS pricing, it's very fungible. Like if you complain, you can kind of get your way. So
yeah. Oh man. Oh no. What do I have? I don't think I have any additions. What do I have? Yeah, Perplexity. Shireen, what do you got? You have anything you like to add? What do
this
we
is
have?
so funny. This is like the opposite of having sponsors. So good. Well, I mean, one that I've been excited about, and we just signed on with them. They should pay me for this, really. No.
Let's go.
House. We just signed on with House for incrementality testing.
Yes.
Yep.
Really
heard good things.
Because we're omni-channel, and we want to understand like what our digital media is driving across other channels. So throw that in there.
Yeah, I love it.
I like it.
All right, so we're bringing back this next segment, the rant wheel.
Yes.
We got a few items on here. This is a long
banger. This is unbelievable. Oh, the little. if we look, If we looked at this in a gong call and we did music versus dialogue, it'd just be all music,
Right.
little dialogue, all music. This is more of a musical at this point than a online show, but hey, we're here for the people.
All right. So we
Oh, I love
have
it.
purchase tracking, cost cap sucks, static source video, and meta machine learning is overrated. Let's spin the wheel and see what we got.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh,
meta machine learning is overrated. All right, we'll start the timer here. We got going. Start. All right. So I agree with everyone on Earth that Meta is the most sophisticated marketing advertising machine that's ever been designed, and they have the smartest people there, and the machine learning is amazing in the aggregate. What I don't believe is that it's amazing on a per impression basis, and that's where I get into fights with people, because people think it can find the right people with $4 of spend, and it cannot. It is not sending that impression to some cray computer, finding the right person, and then sending it back. If it could, it would deliver CPAs or less than what you get on the account average, and it just doesn't. So yeah, that's it. It's very much overrated on an individual basis. Should we spin the wheel again? See what happens?
Yeah, that was a concise rant. You had 10 seconds left. I don't think you weren't spicy enough. We could give it another turn. We got to turn up the heat.
Well, time's up. Time's up. Let's run it again. Here we are. This is you, Rava.
Yes. Oh, this is me. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think there's actually tools that do make this better, but I just have one of the things that absolutely wants me to commit brand seppuku is when you get the notice that something has been a label created and then it just sits in that stage forever. That drives me crazy. And then you find out, oh, it was actually delivered. That drives me nuts. And then not having the ability. So for example, Last Crumb does some of the best post-purchase to delivery tracking where they're just updating you constantly, kind of like the Domino's tracker. You know what I mean? I just think that it's such an easy win for brands because you're so excited to know when to get it. And it's just really all about expectation setting. And I just need to know what's happening, where my package is. And I just find it so many brands just don't care about this. And I get it because, a lot of brands, I'm going to put all my resources to acquisition. I need to funnel velocity, but I think it's a really big thing that people should look into.
Agreed. All right, we're going to run it one more time.
It's a 50-50. You're really hunting for that cost caps, aren't you?
No,
Come
we need
on, 50-50. Oh, how did the cost? Just like cost caps can't deliver.
Can we do both? Talk about cost cap sucking and static versus video.
If you can do both in 60 minutes, it's on the board. Let's do it.
60 minutes. I got it. I'll start with cost cap sucking. Cost caps suck. It's a grift. It's a DTC grift.
DTC grift.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Wait, you know what? I think you need to stop looking at sometimes in platform metrics, and you need to start looking at what happens to your sales when you're running these different strategies. And I think you need to start looking at volume and your business holistically. And the cost that you're getting in platform doesn't represent what's happening out of platform. So that's my cost caps rant. And then static versus video. Again, this is one that I'm passionate about because I was wrong. I used to be like, oh, statics are outperforming. Let's make more statics. And I didn't realize that it was just because I sucked at making videos. And I think you really need to try to make videos. And when you do, they actually outperform statics, and they're great and they work.
Agreed. My theory on statics is that they fundamentally cannot persuade as much as a video can. And because of that, they work on people that don't need a lot of persuasion, which is mostly bottom funnel, retargeting, and that type of stuff. So if your account is all static, then you are not bringing in new people. efficiently.
That's so true. And you know what's interesting? We're running our big friends and family sale right now. And I would think like our statics are for sure going to be the winners. We have videos crushing. We have non-sale videos crushing. Like once you can unlock and figure out the video formula for your brand, like the performance is amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so we got a Shireen only segment. Let's just get to that right now.
Hold on, it's
Love
not
this.
summer
You
yet.
know?
Get out your books, it's time to cram. Shireen's dropping knowledge that will be on the final exam.
I don't know where the polka came from, but
Oh my God, this is terrible.
it's like a Dixie polka or something.
Oh my God.
How did you do
but-
this?
Yes.
Shireen, so 9-figure brand, you were talking about creative production. I imagine that it's not just like finding what works. It's like managing everything that goes into finding what works is not something that gets talked about. I'm curious how you sort of approach that side of things.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think this is something that brands really struggle to figure out. And there's until you can get to the size where you have to figure it out in-house, there's a ton of amazing agencies. I heard Fire Team was really, really amazing.
What?
No,
Oh
no
my
shame
God.
here. But
It's true.
yeah, we're a very brand first brand, so it's critical for us to have creative control. And I think, you know, despite what stage you're at, you need to figure out how to produce the creatives that you need. And kind of going back to the video versus static topic, it's really easy to produce volume of statics, and it's really easy to produce 20 variations of the same static concept, and that doesn't drive growth. And one of the things that, like, when I first came in, we were really struggling in the creative production. We had an agency that was really helping us, but we couldn't like figure it out. And we now have like 3 teams that kind of like tack onto our growth team effort. And I think a lot of brands have somewhat similar setups. We have our creative team, we have our social media, organic social media team, and our influencer team, and then our growth team. And we've set up a squad of these teams, and they iterate and work together every week, like not in a silo. It's not the growth team in a silo coming up with ideas. It's the insights that we're getting from our organic social team and our influencer team is really like propelling our creative strategy way more than just like having someone sit and do the creative strategy job by themselves. And so we have this content engine that's coming from like 3 or 4 different teams in the business. And it's like incredibly successful. We've also, I tweeted about this a little bit, but we found amazing success by just taking what's working on TikTok and adapting it to Meta. And our best Meta performers are all TikTok ad formats, TikTok style video. And it's not like the direct response, like type of ads that were working a few years ago. It's truly like even like finding a creator on TikTok that's talking about your brand, reaching out to them, getting usage, bringing that into Meta, and like watching just like performance that you would see, you know, years ago from video. So the other thing that's been really interesting is like our social and influencer teams have like the closest pulse on what's happening in the market and in the industry and what the consumer wants to see and the trends. And they're able to bring in ideas that like,
product development, sure.
With an ad account, like they don't know that this is like trend, this type of like makeup look is trending, or this thing is this influencer is hot, this, that. And like by like using that to fuel our ad strategy, it's just like we had performance issues in February, just like everybody else did. They're gone. And it's 100% because we adjusted the way that we were producing creative and thinking about creative. And because we also had some like really interesting things to talk about. We talk about our new products, like we've had great success.
So, Shireen, at a 9-figure brand, at what point should a brand start to think about creative that is a little bit more elevated than UGC or
Mm.
stuff from creators? Or if in beauty, can you UGC your way to $1 billion, do you think?
Good question. At the beginning of this year, one of our initiatives was brand media, like actually running top of funnel media, actually running like branded creative. So, in addition to the UGCs and the direct response creatives, we have like brand first polish video that we're running. We're even running it in reach and traffic and upper funnel. Media, we're running some of it on YouTube. We're just now testing TV with some of this content. We're testing out of home. So I definitely think like to get to the next stage of growth, you have to do that upper funnel media and you have to go for like impression growth. And it's hard to actually measure, but we're seeing a downstream impact where across all channels, the brand is growing like really well. Our CACs are coming down. We have this like rolling reach report on Meta. And ever since we've been doing more like upper funnel and we don't put a ton of money into it, our new accounts reached has just been like exploding. So it kind of goes back to like your marketing strategies are representative of how much new account growth and reach that you're going to have. So if you're just lowest cost and you're just ASE, you might not be reaching a lot of new accounts. And if you're doing reach, and I think some of this, someone had a question about like retargeting lookalikes versus broad. I think if you're a small account and you're just doing conversion optimized stuff, like broad is you could test, but broad may win the majority of time. But if you're moving a little bit more upper funnel, like that's when targeting actually becomes more relevant. Like we've seen like, okay, if we're doing reach or traffic, we're targeting like certain interests and it's actually like targeting those people and building our funnel. So it's kind of like going back to the old days where you're like, funnel instead of just doing conversion optimized stuff.
Yeah, it feels like UGC can like build a lot of initial interest for a product or a brand, but the consumer needs a narrative about why that brand. And if it's makeup, it can't just be like performance. It performs better. Like you need a brand narrative, and you need to actively put that out there. You can't just rely on creators to create that brand narrative for you and complete that loop in people's minds. So,
100%. And it's hard to do, and it's not cheap. And
right. It costs a lot more to shoot that stuff. So people have been dying to get a hold of this merch. Let's give it away.
Yes.
All right. That is not the winner.
Oh, Zach.
Not the
winner. Gonna be crushed.
Got a big list. Got to spin it for real, and let's see who is winning the Queen Shireen duffel bag.
Let's see.
Only 2 in existence. We will send you one, Che Renee, for sure.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
All right. The groupie one. Let's go. That's awesome, Ray.
All right, Ray. If you can try and reach out to me, or I'll try and reach out to you some way, we will connect and get that done. Robert, do you have a Cops and Roberts?
I do, in a quite pricey one. So I'm out here in New York right now. Sorry. Oh yeah, give me the intros.
Yeah, here we go. Hold on.
Robber, what you gonna come? What you gonna come from all the latest new drops?
I love that. I'm so glad we switched to this. So I enjoy a whiskey or bourbon every now and then. And shout out to Shogun. I'm a big Japanese whiskey guy. And so I went to this really cool place here called the Flatiron Room. And it's just like this crazy, amazing whiskey bar or whatever. And then there was this whiskey that I had been looking at, kind of pricey. And then they had it. And then so there's a limited edition, and then there's like a Reggies. And I got to try both because I did like a whiskey flight, and I ended up buying. So for anybody out there, I got the Hibiki Harmony limited edition. And so it's actually sold out. I think you can grab it other places, but Yeah, so
Is
that
it-
was a pretty pricey Cops and Robas. It was
you
pretty
plan on
aggressive.
drinking it, or
I have like a little bar at my house or my apartment, so I'll like show it off, but it will be definitely only for the Shireen and Jesses of the world when they come over. It's not nothing, put it that way. It was aggressive, but the bottle's stunning, and a lot of
Mm.
times these bottles are beautiful, but the actual what's in them is pretty similar. I got
Yep.
to try the actual Hibiki Harmony and then the limited edition, and it was legitimately objectively better. So go check it out. Beautiful bottle, limited edition Hibiki Harmony, gorgeous, this beautiful flowered bottle. But yeah, it was a lot of money.
Well, you can save my pour. I feel like my palate is not sophisticated enough to appreciate anything above like TGI Fridays. So
Hey, there you go.
it would
Hey,
be it'd be wasted on me.
ain't nothing wrong with a little what is it, Long Island iced tea from Chili's. Ain't no shame in the game.
All right. So that concludes our show. Thank you, Che Renee, for being here. Love to have you. Expectations were matched and exceeded on the hottest take. So really appreciate that. Everyone in the chat for tuning in. Shireen, don't go anywhere. We're going to play the outro, and then we have one final segment.
Wow.
DTC Shoooooow Outro. You don't have to go back to work, but you can't stay here. It's almost the weekend, so grab your
Have a wonderful
Shoooooow.
Friday, everybody.
Yeah, 266 people hanging out with us on Friday afternoon. Appreciate it.
267, but who's counting?
Give us a shout by liking and subscribing. It would really
We do need to drop. We should drop a CD, Jess. Like a proper CD, a tape cassette. We should like the kids don't know about the CDs.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Okay. So, Shireen, this segment becomes the intro segment to the YouTube and the Spotify upload. Rob is going to come in hot, being like, great show, Shireen, and then kick it off to you. And you're going to run down the segments that we did, which are here. And then you could add a little bit of context or flavor to that. And that becomes like the 30 or 60 seconds of the upload.
Awesome.
Got it?
I'll do
All
my
right.
best.
You're going to crush it. I know you will. All right, folks, welcome back to another D2C show. This Friday, we brought in the queen of D2C, the best hair in the game, the prettiest name, Shireen.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Raba. It's so good to be here. I'll run you guys through the show. It is probably the best episode of the show you will ever have tuned into. Guest in 10 seconds. This is where Jess cuts me off when I'm introducing myself. D2C news of the week. We talk about the Meta Performance Summit and all the losers that actually went. SAS Survivor. We kick off a SAS. Stay tuned to find out which SAS gets kicked off the list. The rant wheel, it's spicy, it's fun. We talk about cost caps. We get people mad. Back to school. I school you guys. It's really cool. There's some amazing merch. It's left me speechless. And Raba, he talks about liquor. It's really going to be good. You will not want to miss this.
Great. Love it.
10.
All right.
10. That was incredible.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
Well done. All right. I'm going to end the broadcast. Thanks, everyone, for in the chat sticking around. Love it. And I'll see you guys in the green room real quick.
Amazing. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Go touch some grass. Go do something